Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Dear brothers and sisters, today, inshallah, we want to continue with chapter 28 and these amazing lessons and reflections we are trying to understand from this book of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the Quran. The Quran is meant to be for everybody, brothers and sisters, for the Muslims, non-Muslims, for the atheists, for everybody who is looking for guidance, who is looking to change his way, who is looking in the right direction, who is looking to reach the final destination safely. Brothers and sisters, the biggest problem which we have is people are becoming unrealistic when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heaven and earth, and their big picture. And they're using their common sense when it comes to the small things in life. For example, you're getting sick. What do? You go to the doctor. Then you take the prescription. You go to the pharmacy. You get the medicine. And then I ask the pharmacist, how many times I take this a day? Before food or after food? You get all the proper direction to make sure that you're following the direction correctly. And then you go and you make sure. Some people set an alarm. Some people have like a pill organizer to make sure they don't miss a pill. Brothers and sisters, this is all fine. But see the logic here as a human. You are following directions. You don't question the doctor of what he's prescribing. You're not questioning the pharmacist of what he's given you. You're not questioning the directions, and you follow the instructions 100%. When it comes to the big picture of your life, which is more serious, because you know at a certain point that you will be staying on earth forever. You're gonna die. What happened to the grandparents? Grandparents? They're done. They're dead. What's gonna happen to me, to you, to everybody? They will die. Just a period of time. But the question the smart person is, what will happen after? What will happen after this? I know the time on earth is short. What will happen after? And lacking of that understanding of the big picture and use common sense and logic to prepare for that big picture, you will fail. Failure will be assured if you're not preparing yourself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a creator, and that creator have made everything simple, easy, clear in this book. And from there, you just need to follow the same way you follow the instructions of your doctor, of your pharmacist. You need to follow the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam in order for you to be saved. Nobody want to go to hell, brothers and sisters. It's really bad over there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making an argument after this by talking to the people who, after any calamity, any tribulation, any national disaster hit them, and they become desperate, and they asking at that, because at that time the person's heart is getting soft. When somebody loses his home, when somebody loses his loved ones, when somebody loses all his money, he questions why I'm here. The money I've been wasting my life to collect is gone in a blink of an eye. So the people will question their existence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that when these calamities happen, and a lot of times Allah will soften the people's heart. Allah wants to soften the people's heart so they can question, they can go back to Him. Especially those people who never got any messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before. But some people, like the Israelites throughout their history, they keep asking for a prophet after a prophet. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when you get a prophet, you kill him. When you ask him for a prophet and that prophet comes and try to change your ways, try to give you the truth and give you the guidance, you kill him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayat, He says when a calamity hits, people ask, فَيَقُولُ رَبَّنَا, oh God, please send us a messenger. So that messenger can guide us. So we can be from those among the believers. Brothers and sisters, a good student, an A student, he will continue to be an A student regardless if he has the right teacher or he doesn't have the right teacher. Because the good student will go, if he doesn't understand from that teacher, he'll go and look for a reference. He'll go to the library. He's gonna go and look up things up. He want to understand the material. He's not gonna be looking for the school to get him a good instructor, because he has the intellect and the logic to look for the material, understand the material. And that is very important, brothers and sisters, because people are keep claiming that, oh, we don't have the Messiah, we don't have the person who will deliver the nation, the ummah, or the Muslim nations. Christians, for example, looking for Jesus to come back. Muslims looking for Mahdi to come back or to come. Brothers and sisters, all of these things will, even if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends, and He will send these characters, but it's not going to be obvious. It's going to be tested, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing people. And the first people, the people who are not ready, the people who don't understand the material in the Quran, they will be the first people who will reject those people. They will be the first people who will fight these people. They will be the first people who will try to make plans to destroy these figures, because there is no belief, because they're trying to find an excuse after an excuse. Same thing like we said before, like the student and an instructor. The instructor is teaching one way and the student is not understanding. The instructor give him another way, a third way. At the end, it's not the instructor, it is the student who doesn't want to do the effort and the sacrifices to be able to succeed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, when He soften your heart, when He punish people because of their actions, and that punishment, brother and sister, in this life is a mercy. When Allah punish people in this life, it's a mercy, because He wants to wake them up before the time ends. Any disaster, anything happens, all the wind, the hurricanes, the earthquakes, the fires, they're all soldiers of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He want to punish, or if He want to He want to wake people up. He want to soften their heart. He want them to become return or looking for the truth. So they will be guided. But unfortunately, what did these ayat are telling us? That people, they've tried to find in any excuses. Like, for example, Christians right now, oh, we need Jesus to come back. Oh, everything will be fine. But the first people will reject Jesus when he comes back are them. Are the people who don't have the belief. Because the belief is not, Jesus is not going to come and put the belief in the people's mouth. No. Belief needs sacrifices. Belief needs to change the course of action. Belief needs you to be able to find the truth by yourself sometimes. And you try to, who's going to pray for you 5 times a day? Jesus? No. You have to. Who's going to fast? You has to. Who's going to do the sacrifices when you're dealing with people? You'll be honest and trustworthy and kind and gentle. Who's going to do all these actions? You. So that's the whole idea. It comes back to the student who need to do the effort, not the instructor. Instructor give instructions. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayat, He said, فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمُ الْحَقُّ. If He sent a prophet and He sent a messenger, مِنْ عِنْدِنَا قَالُوا لَوْلَا أُوتِيَ مِثْلَ مَا أُوتِيَ مُوسَى. When Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam come, or when Jesus comes back, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will say, what is this guy is doing? What is this guy is bringing? We need a vital, and we need a tangible miracles. The same thing Moses has. The same thing Muhammad came with the Quran. He doesn't have a staff. He didn't part the sea. He didn't have a staff which turns to Python. So people are trying to find an excuse. We need something tangible. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَوَلَمْ يَكْفُرُوا بِمَا أُوتِيَ مُوسَى مِنْ قَبْلِ. So they are rejecting. So you'll see the people who are rejecting the old messages, they will, even if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send a new message, they will reject it again and again and again. Because the foundation of these messages, it's the same. La ilaha illallah. That's the foundation. If you don't know it, if you don't have that clear and pure in your heart, you will have hard time finding the truth. قالوا السحران تظاهرا وقالوا إنا بكل كافرون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the people of the Arabia, they disbelieved in the Torah because of the Torah was telling them that Muhammad is coming with the Quran and Muhammad is coming among them as a messenger. So they didn't believe the Torah. And then when Muhammad came to them, alayhi salatu wassalam, they said, oh, Muhammad doesn't have a tangible miracles like Moses. So we disbelieve in the Torah, we disbelieve in the Quran, we need something tangible. Brother and sister, all of these are excuses. The main thing is, and we've discussed this before, the ego in the heart and the self-interest. People, a lot of times they understand. Remember the story of Moses? There was some plagues was going to happen. And these people come to Moses and tell, ask your Lord to take away the flood or the blood or whatever they were getting afflicted with. And after each time, once he make dua and ask God to take this away, it goes away. So that doesn't ring the bell that this guy is a messenger from God. When he defeated the magician, it didn't ring the bell. But still they disbelieve. And why did they disbelieve that the Quran is saying? Because of the arrogance in the heart, the self-interest. They don't want to sacrifice. Because the deen or the Quran or the religion or Islam or surrendering to Allah, you have to have humility in your heart. You have to love everybody regardless his color. Is he black? Is he brown? He has an accent? He doesn't have an accent? He knows English? He doesn't know English? He whatever he believes in, it's all you have to love her. You have to treat people equally. They have equal rights. And this is the problem. They thought that there is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this surah that the Pharaoh have made classification of the people. Same here. In order for somebody like Donald J. Trump to get elected, he made people. You're an immigrant. You're black. You're white. You are from Afghanistan. You are from here. He has classified. And that is what appealed to the majority of the people who elected him. That's why we are really in a very tough time right now, because when we have a racist, a fraudster, somebody on the top, it's going to be a disaster. But each one is responsible at the end of the day for himself, dear brothers and sisters. And the Quran is addressing and asking each one of us to believe in it. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, قُلْ فَأْتُوا بِكِتَابٍ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ هُوَ أَهْدَى مِنْهُمَا أَتَّبِعْهُ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Come with a book. If Allah is talking to the people of Arabia at the time of Muhammad ﷺ, or at the people of right now. If they're saying, oh, this Quran is not a book of guidance, it's not a book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, bring something else. If you are truthful, you have nothing. You have nothing, because this book coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ending this by saying what? فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَجِيبُوا لَكَ. Indeed, they're not going to bring anything. Because all of what the theories, the book, the psychology, the philosophy books has is what? Made up human arguments. It's not from the manufacturer. It's not from the factory, from up there. It's not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَعَلَمْ أَنَّمَا يَتَّبِعُونَ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. Know that they are following their desires. Again, brothers and sisters, following your desires can take you to hell. Just you have to understand, and you have to question what I'm following, what I'm doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will approve, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will dislike. That is what it is. This is what the hawa is. This is where the desires are. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that they try to find their self-interest is deviating, they make them deviate from the truth. The temptations, the desires around them is make them deviate from the truth and try to change the truth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ أَضَلُّ مِمَّنِ اتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ بِغَيْرِ هُدَى مِنَ اللَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, the worst person who will go astray, who will lose his way in this life, because he's going in this life without the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم.